about the time I was in middle school when one of our neighbors put up their house for sale and a black family bought it. And the word got around that housing value was going to plummet as a result. And people started moving.
I know of a black pastor who lost his job as a pastor in a much more predominantly white church because he tried to give voice to the injustice that was going on, and as a result, they fired him. And then after Trump looked at the camera and said, "Proud Boys, stand back, stand by," he knew he was in trouble, and he woke up the next morning with 3 trucks parked outside of his house with white men standing with their arms crossed, waiting for him to come out. Can you imagine the trauma he felt in that moment? It infuriates me that that's the life he has to live.
I was asking various pastors of why, if you know the Bible says multi-ethnic church because of the work of Christ, why not in your area that is diverse? I had a white pastor say, "Well, Derwin, I know what you're saying is true, but I think dads would be afraid that their daughters would marry black men."
One professor at an evangelical seminary, the professor in the school will go unnamed. A black student raised his hand in class because he kept hearing white theologian after white theologian after white theologian after white theologian. And he asked the professor the question. He said, "Prof, have black people in any form, shape, or fashion, or people of color, contributed anything to theology?" And he said, put his hand over his mouth and he kind of stroked his chin and he looked up, leaned over his platform and said, "You guys can really sing."
In an instant, my 4th grade teacher came across the room. She grabbed him by the front of his shirt, picked him up, threw him against the chalkboard, and in front of our whole class said to him, and forgive me, I'm going to quote her, "Why don't you wipe that nigger smile off your face?"
I just happened to be standing outside the glass of the radio studio while James Dobson was doing his radio show the morning after Obama won the White House. And he said a couple of things that kind of stunned me. One was that the shock of Obama winning was like getting struck with a hammer in the back of his head. The second one was something to the effect of, "And America just isn't going to look like us anymore."
Wow.
And I was like, oh, this is... Oh.
He was saying the quiet part out loud.
I grew up in a white Christian bubble, and I didn't even notice it until I was well into adulthood and realized, oh wait, not all Christians are white.